Hello, Facebook Live. Excited to be here again on Keto Coaching, Keto Success Coaching Fridays, and I'm here to share with you some information that I've been researching about sweeteners, keto sweeteners. I do apologize. I had my friend Gabrielle Allen scheduled to be with us on today, but she had an emergency that she had to take care of. And I will be interviewing her this weekend at some point and sharing her knowledge about sweeteners and how it can help you in your baking. So for me, I just thought I would do a little bit of research this morning, and I found some information on Rule.me, and I just want to say before I start that I am not a doctor. I'm not an expert. I'm just somebody out there that, kind of thinking of this as like a science project that I wanted to do some research on, sharing you what I found out about sweeteners. There's a lot of different ones out there. If any of you have gone baking, started to cook keto, and you're figuring out coconut flour, almond flour, and all these different types of sugars and which ones to use. So I will start off by saying that I was doing some research last night. I thought it was absolutely fascinating, and I found out that well, I'll come back to that. Let me just start off with the sweeteners. So some of you, I keep reading about glycemic index, and what does that mean? So I thought I'd break apart some of these common terms that we keep thinking about and hearing, and that basically glycemic index, or GI as they're all saying, is how much of your blood sugar is raised by certain foods. And so I'm looking at a table here that basically, in a nutshell, says that table sugar has 100 carbs per 100 grams, and I looked it up, and it's about 3.5 ounces, or about a cup of sugar. And the glycemic index for table sugar is 63, so it's pretty high. Some of the other high glycemic indexes is sucralose, which is between 0 and 80, and it's a little bit controversial. And aspartame is very high in carbs at about 85. Saccharin is 94 carbs, and some of the other high glycemic index ones is maltolol and xylitol. And I'm going to break these down. Here's what I found out. And again, I'm no expert. I'm just somebody doing some research literally this morning. So, and I know that Gabrielle Allen, who we'll talk to this weekend, I have to figure out which day works better, has a lot of solid information from her experience. So anyway, what I found is that stevia is one of the better ones. It's known as sugar leaf, and it's basically, it's pretty popular, and it has been known to reduce blood pressure. It's got a lower blood glucose level, and insulin levels, and diabetes. And it's tested in animals. It can lower inflammation. So it says here, go after the liquid-based ones. That's typically better. And when you see the powdered form, it actually is mixed with other sweeteners, and there can be some hidden carbs in those. So another one that I'm reading about here is inulin, which is super interesting this morning. It is a natural-based sweetener. It's commonly extracted from chicory root. And according to the studies, it says here that we can absorb some of it. So anyway, the reason it's good is it caramelizes like sugar, but it actually shows that it has 20 grams of carbs in it. So I would actually probably stay away from that one. So another one that I see that's popular is monk fruit, and the glycemic index for this one is 0. Monk fruit is native to China, it says here, and it says that it's 300 times as sweet as sugar, which is crazy. And that it's been used in traditional Chinese medicine to treat diabetes and obesity. Okay, so it says that it's actually difficult to find this in a pure form, and then a lot of times in the more marketing forms, I did find it at King Supers, or was it Sprouts recently, that said that they're actually often mixed with other ones, and that other sweeteners, and could have some hidden carbs in it, and that the sweeteners they're mixing it with could have a high glycemic index. So it says in this study here to actually avoid that. All right. So let's go right to erythritol. I actually learned how to pronounce that one. It says here that it's typically found in fruits and veggies, and it's commonly extracted from corn, which makes me wonder because corn is not something we could do on keto. So I do have questions that we'll ask some other people, and as I find answers, I'll share them with you. And as you guys are listening to me today, please post your questions below so that I can answer them and do some research and come back to you with some of those answers. So it says here that at about 1 gram of the sweetener is for 2.2 pounds of its body weight. Is that usually what you would consume? It says that usually sugar alcohols can cause discomfort when using erythritol. I know when I talked to Gabrielle, she had some specific suggestions about that, so I'm going to actually ask her more about that than because I don't know a ton about it. It said that there's been studies, and it could cause slight stomach discomfort in large quantities. All right, so moving right along. Oh, it says here, erythritol does not change blood sugar or insulin levels in healthy adults, so it does have a low index on the GI scale. So xylitol is another one that I was new to learning about, and it says that it's also found in fruits and veggies, and that it's got a low glycemic index. Okay, so it says that it's actually good for your dental health, which can be kind of interesting. So one thing I found noteworthy about xylitol is it's actually extremely toxic for dogs, and I have animals. So it said that even if you, in small doses, like I was baking the other day and it spilled, and my dog actually ran off with some of my cheese on the counter the other day. So I'm not sure I really want to use that and have that in the house if I've got doggies. So, all right, so let's talk about artificial sweeteners. Sucralose is one that is pretty controversial, this study was saying here, and that its average is about 80 on the glycemic index for it, which is actually really high. And in this in powder form is what they call Splenda, and I've heard that's not the greatest. So it says here that it's 600 times sweeter than sugar. I don't know about you, but I'm really fascinated as to why some things are sweeter than others, and what does that mean? So I'll be asking those kinds of questions. It says to use this one sparingly in liquid form and in combination with others. So another one is aspartame. It says the glycemic index is 0, and this is the most controversial of all. There's been some studies that say that it could cause all these horrible conditions. I'm not a doctor, so I'm not going to spread rumors there, but I can tell you that out of all the things that I've been using in my life, I was hugely addicted to Diet Pepsi, and I'm pretty sure the aspartame was in it. And I've heard that can actually, it's basically formaldehyde in your body, and it is like the world's worst thing that you can consume. So any of you out there think that you're good to go because you're not drinking sodas, you're drinking diet sodas, please get off of them now. And I would not recommend doing that at all. And I found out of all the things that when I think it was about 10 years ago I got off sodas, and then I attempted to get off diet sodas. I know I got off in my second pregnancy, but not my first one, and that is one of the best things I ever did. Saccharin has been around for 150 years. It's another one. It says it's not really commonly used anymore, and I remember that they had a label on there saying that it could cause cancer. So I don't know about you, but I would avoid that like the plague. I will include this table on the post later on and what I'm finding. But basically, it says avoid sugar here. It says that avoid sugar at all costs. It's linked to type 2 diabetes. It can cause bad cholesterol, and it can lead to sugar addiction. And some of you may see in some of my recent posts, I have heard that it's actually 8 times more addictive than cocaine. And so here's an interesting statistic, is that table sugar is broken down into fructose and glucose when it enters the bloodstream. Glucose is naturally occurring in our bodies, but fructose is not. Excess fructose from overconsumption gets turned into glycogen, but also can be stored at fat once it's overloaded, and this can cause fatty liver disease. So really interesting. It also says to avoid coconut sugar, and that coconut sugar is made from the flour of the coconut palm, and the sap is heated until the water is evaporated. And basically it does retain some of the nutrients, but the heating process actually eliminates a lot of that. And in our diet, it actually has 11 carbs per 1 tablespoon, so that would be a reason to avoid it. And it's mostly made up of sucrose. So it's half fructose, half glucose, and overconsumption of fructose can lead to fatty liver disease. So, and it has a glycemic index of 65, which is not so great. So avoid fruit juice. And I was talking to somebody yesterday. He goes, I'm on a fruit fast, and I do tons of smoothies, and I was telling him, I heard it wasn't the best, but I didn't exactly know how to talk about it. But basically, with fruit juice, it says here, it's not the best for a low-carb diet and keto. It says that a lot of them are processed with sweeteners, and they typically contain fructose, which is very high in the glycemic index, resulting in blood sugar and insulin spikes. It also says here that most of these fruit juices have about 20 carbs in it. So you're going to have 1 glass of fruit juice, and that's your whole carb intake for the whole day. So I don't know about you, but I'd go starving. So another one, I have people ask me all the time, how about honey? And I'm like, you definitely don't want to do honey, but this one explains why. It is packed full of fructose. Like other sweeteners, this is something you want to avoid on your list. I know that my daughter is big onto natural things like honey, and if you don't process it, but most honeys actually add sugar to it, and they also pasteurize it, which kills all the good stuff in it. And so it says here that 1 tablespoon of honey usually contains 17 carbs, which is why we want to avoid it. So avoid maple syrup, it says here, and it says that it typically has 13 carbs in 1 tablespoon, so you definitely want to avoid that. And then avoid agave syrup. This was really trendy a few years ago, and I was told that my daughter said stay away from it, and it's very much marketed as a natural alternative, but it actually contains up to 80% fructose, which is very high impacting our sugar levels, and it has a low glycemic index. It says that it has it's marketed as having a lower glycemic index, but it says don't be fooled that a lot of times the fructose is damaging to our liver. So anyway, the other thing I wanted, that's all I have on the sugars at this point, and then we will get Gabrielle Allen, who is a keto baker. She's starting a business, I don't know how long she's been into us, and she's excited about expanding, and so I will get her information when I interview her this weekend. But one of the things I just did for fun yesterday is I started Googling around after finding a controversial thing. I think it was on Fox News about keto, and this woman was very negative about keto and how it doesn't work, and she said somebody had tried it for 3 weeks and they were done. And all I can tell you is that there's keto the hard way and keto the easy way. And I'll tell you, keto is here to stay. I know it works because I personally have lost 41 pounds in the last 6 months since I've been doing this. I actually lost it quicker than that, and I'm not saying that, you know, I am an expert by any means in keto whatsoever. I exercise and I am eating healthy, and it's just been the coolest thing I've ever done. But what I found out after researching this yesterday is that this keto diet there was a statement that said that it's if you Google it, that it has grown 4 times. The keto diet is 4 times more popular on Google over the last year, and so keto's here to stay, people. This is not a fad. This is not a fad diet. It works. Kim Kardashian is doing it. She lost her baby weight, I heard, and some other people. And I absolutely love helping people with keto. So I have a group page. It's called Keto Success. I'm constantly asking questions to people, and they're asking their questions. And I see here Michelle Gillick saying she was addicted to Coke Zero. I'd be fascinated, Michelle, to know what is in that gets it to low zero and what the glycemic index is. That maybe we'll, if somebody wants to take it upon themselves to do a little research on that. But I love helping people with their keto. People ask me all the time, do you charge? I do not charge to coach. I absolutely love it. I do keto the easy way, and I'm very proud to say that I love helping people, and I do use supplements. And if you want more information about that, please ask me more. It's Burn and Shake. It's changed my life. It's helped detox my body from my addiction to sugar, which is a huge problem in our country. It is not just me, and if people out there are like, how come I cannot lose this weight? It's because our society has, in our food system, we've learned to enjoy carbs and sugar and what it's done for our bodies. So when you actually get off grains, potatoes, rice, corn, pasta, it can detox your body from, the natural energy source that you get from carbs, and you switch it over to eating high fat, and it's a much better energy source. I'm full all day long. I feel full. I have energy that's gone through the roof. I know that doing keto as well as pink Fijian ginger and Fijian turmeric has lowered inflammation in my own body. And I used to wake up every morning with this incessant cough, and I used to sneeze 15 times every morning. And, that's not a scientific fact. This is Hillary's experience at doing keto and in very strong ginger and very strong turmeric, and how it showed up in my body. And that just shows me that my body is ridding itself of the toxins, and I feel better than ever. I've upped my game as far as my workouts, and I'm doing now 3 to 4 workouts per week. I ride my bike. I have a road bike, and my kitty's here. And I go walks around the neighborhood, and I'm doing exercises that are on the back of this Bula Bobble that we have. I wish I had it here. I'd show you. And, Owen McGibbons is a wonderful trainer in the company that I work with. And basically, I'm just here to support you. If some of you are struggling with what to eat, please go on to easyketosuccess.com. I've got a whole week worth of meals, and I've been cooking them all week. So delicious, really easy, works great. And basically, I'm here to just help you. And super excited to share this weekend coming up with Gabrielle Allen. And we'll go from there. I got to figure out how to do a 3-way on this Facebook thing. I haven't figured that out yet. But I'm excited to bring her on. She's a keto baker. She does a bakery, and she ships all over the country. So anyway, thank you for tuning in today. So excited to help you all. And have a wonderful week. And questions coming on Keto Success Facebook group page. Bye.